So I think it's been this obsession with trying to look a certain way, bleaching your skin or doing all these things to kind of change yourself. And global beauty is about celebrating who you are, your uniqueness, what makes you beautiful.
Lina Hanson, Global Beauty Podcast.
I mean, global beauty is such a broad thing. It can mean so many different things, and it goes a lot deeper than, just.
So what is global beauty to you?
Yeah, I mean, growing up in Sweden, as a mixed ethnicity girl, I think I was kind of, from the very start, I always felt different. I always sort of felt like an outsider. Um, I loved growing up in Sweden. It's the most incredible place to grow up. I grew up in a very small town. But I remember always kind of looking different, always feeling different than everybody else. And so I think having that, I always kind of looked for where else, I wanted to kind of go out and explore the world to kind of maybe see people that more look like me. I don't know. But I think that was my initial feeling of like wanting to explore the world and see what else. And I know you.
So global for you meant more exploring and seeing what's out there and seeing if you could find a version of yourself out there in these places.
Yeah.
And for me, I guess it's a kind of like that, but it was more representation. That was the thing. My background being an actor, which got me into the filmmaking, but it was just like this whole, sounds cliche, but you never see people like yourself up on the screen and you want to see yourself up on the screen. But then I started to wonder, like, not just me, a lot of my friends, I wasn't seeing my friends from other ethnicities represented either. And to me, some of these people were like the coolest people I'd ever seen. And then just kind of starting to see, like, how is it that all these people that were so cool, that were doing so many cool things, never popped off? Like, why don't we hear about them? And I think that became such a big thing for me. Why do we have one narrative of what beauty is supposed to be? Absolutely. And that shit just killed me, man. That stuff was like, that drove me so much, man, to do all this stuff, to do the filmmaking stuff. And so I remember very early on when we were talking about this, it was about representation. I wanted to see different people, and not like just everybody but white people. No, everybody. I wanted to see everybody represented.
And I mean, also working as a makeup artist in Hollywood, I kind of experienced firsthand the lack of diversity and inclusion. And, in the beauty industry, it's very much about youth. We're very youth oriented. And we're very much like, oh, everybody has to look a certain way. Or, and I found that I really didn't think that was the right portrayal of what beauty is, because there's so much variety and so much diversity in beauty. And I wanted that to kind of be what the mission was, of global beauty. That is what global beauty is, really. Just kind of celebrating all beauty and kind of celebrating our uniqueness and our differences. And also, I think when you look at like magazines or, I mean, now just social media, how everything is retouched. And, I remember working on set, doing a makeup look for someone, and then I would see it on the magazine later and it wouldn't look like that at all, right? It would just be so retouched and it just wouldn't be authentic. I think that's a huge thing too. I read somewhere that the beauty industry is something like $100 billion industry. And by 2026, the beauty industry will be $131 billion industry.
Insane.
That is a big industry. And I think also when we're talking about global beauty, like the industry in itself, the beauty industry I feel like it's thriving on people's insecurities.
Absolutely.
A little bit. It's like, oh, buy this cream because your wrinkles will go away, or, anti-aging skincare. That's why we never mention anti-aging on any of our website, or I don't talk about anti-aging, because aging is a natural process of life. this is what it is. And so I think it's been this obsession with trying to look a certain way, bleaching your skin, or doing all these things to kind of change yourself. And global beauty is about celebrating who you are, your uniqueness, what makes you beautiful. And that is the root of what I believe global beauty is too. Like our products are so much more than just a product you're putting on your skin. I really try to like encourage people to take their time and, you know, the smell, the texture, how does it feel? Take your time to apply it and kind of be in that present moment when you're applying the skincare. Just to kind of take your time for that self-nurturing a little bit too, because I think that when you're taking that time for yourself, you learn to accept yourself. And I think when you start to accept yourself, you will also start accepting others, because it starts with yourself first.
Right.
You know, the world is a mirror. So what we feel inside is what we kind of portray outwards. And that is also global beauty. It's about taking that time to really self-nurture and care for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Take me back to, where did you grow up?
I grew up in a very, very small town in northern Sweden called Tällberg. It's like 500 people. And it was a beautiful place to grow up. I really loved growing up there. But I think being mixed ethnicity, I always felt different. You know, you're in a small town, you don't look like anybody else there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember that being a little difficult because I felt very Swedish, because I didn't have any connection with my other side, my Pakistani side. All I knew was Sweden and the people in Sweden and my family who was Swedish. But I remember people would always ask me like, oh, where are you from? You know, and I'll be like, I'm from here, I'm from Sweden. And they're like, no, where are you really from? So it was always a very tricky thing. Like I felt very Swedish. I've always felt Swedish, but I knew I looked different. So automatically I would get, you know, that kind of like, oh, where is she from?
I mean, that's it's so amazing. That's like, but that is also the global thing. When all these things that have happened in your past,
yeah.
If that's not there, we are not here having this conversation.
No, I don't think the mission of global beauty and having this feeling that I wanted to spread that message out in the world would not have been that strong had I not had that experience growing up as a mixed little girl in Sweden, in northern Sweden, town, you know.